I went to visit his grave, but the plot beside him already had my name on it. It stops my breath. There it is, gray granite, cleanly chiseled. His name, his rank, his date of death, and just next to it, another plot. My name, no rank, no date, just space waiting to be filled. The soil on that plot looks freshly turned, not dug, not buried, but unsettled, like a wound not closed. I blink, thinking maybe the sunlight is playing tricks, but no, it's there. The stone's been installed. It's mine. Every year, I come here with a thermos of coffee and 2 paper cups. I pour one for him and one for me. Always the same ritual. Sit cross-legged, say a few words, stare at the headstone. Sometimes I talk, sometimes I don't. He knows the difference. He was my best friend. Still is. Been gone 19 years now, but some days it feels like yesterday. I was 23 when he died. He was 22. We met at Fort Hood, both from small towns, both a little reckless, both fast with a joke and slow to anger. We didn't start off tight. We earned it. Through mud, through miles, through months in a tent in the middle of nothing. You don't really know a man until you've seen him clean his weapon while crying over a letter he won't let you read. And I knew him. So this plot, this name, this empty space beside him, it shakes something loose in me, something I thought had settled. I sit down slowly, the grass cool under my boots, gravel crunching like gunfire underfoot. I stare at the stone for a long time. A hawk circles high above, calling once. The flag above the cemetery flaps in the wind. Snaps, really, like a salute. Then I take a sip of coffee. It's lukewarm now, bitter. Still, it steadies me. Who put my name there? I've never arranged for burial here. I've got no family plot in this town. I've lived in 3 states since I got out. So, unless I buried myself in my sleep, someone else made this choice. And I have a damn good idea who. Her name was Mrs. Kelly, his mother, small, kind woman with a spine made of braided cable. She hugged like she meant it. She never blamed me, not once, even after the letters, even after I came to the house and couldn't make it to the porch. She came down the steps, met me halfway, and held me until I stopped shaking. We wrote for a while after. Then the years got heavier, and the letters slowed. Last I heard, she passed in 21. Quietly, no fuss. I think she did this. I think she reserved the plot. She must have asked someone, maybe left instructions. Maybe she thought, if I couldn't come home, at least I wouldn't be alone. The thought hits me in the chest. Hard. I close my eyes and let the wind speak for a while. It sounds like it did out in the desert, dry, restless, like it's carrying news from far away. The kind of wind that makes tents flap and nerves fray. He died in a convoy ambush. We were just outside of Numania, heading back from an overnight OP observation post. Road looked clear, too clear. I had a bad feeling. I remember saying something stupid like, if this was a movie, this is where the music would change. Then the road exploded. I remember the heat first, then the silence. The kind of silence that has weight, that presses down on you. Next thing I knew, I was halfway out of the vehicle, coughing on blood that wasn't mine. He was gone, just like that. We'd switched seats that morning. I don't even remember why. Maybe he was tired. Maybe I offered. Maybe it was just one of those little things that doesn't feel like anything until it's everything. He died in the seat, meant for me. I've carried that every day since. Doesn't matter how many therapists tell me to let it go. Doesn't matter how many people say, you did what you could. Some truths don't heal. They just settle in different places. That's why I come here every year, to say things I can't say anywhere else. This year I whisper, "Why now? Why me? Why'd she do it?" There's no answer, but there's the stone, there's the grass, there's the second cup of coffee, untouched. It's all the answer I get. And then I notice something else. Flowers, not just mine. Someone else has been here. A small bouquet, white lilies, plastic wrap still damp from the morning dew. So I'm not the only one who visits. Maybe a cousin, maybe a neighbor, maybe a stranger who reads names like prayers. It comforts me a little, knowing he's not forgotten. But that stone with my name, that's going to take some getting used to. I finish my coffee and set the cup down on his headstone. The wind shifts. For just a second, I imagine he's here, sitting beside me, looking at the stone and laughing. That loud, barking laugh he had, the kind that scared birds. "Looks like you're stuck with me," I mutter, "even after death." Somewhere, I hope, he hears it. As I stand, knees cracking, I brush the grass off my jeans. The morning is fully awake now. Sun climbing, shadows shortening, the air warming up. A couple of other visitors wander nearby, respectful, quiet. We nod at each other. No words needed. We all know what today means. I take one last look at the twin headstones. His filled, mine waiting. Then I walk back to the car. Not sure what to do next, not sure what any of it means. But one thing I do know. This wasn't a mistake. This was an invitation. And it's time I found out what for. Back at the house, I can't sit still. The kettle whistles, the mail stacks up untouched, and the TV mumbles something about weekend sales. But all I see is that damn headstone. My name, my empty plot, a promise I didn't make, but somehow inherited. I pour another coffee, black this time, hotter than before. I let it burn the back of my throat. It anchors me, sharp and real. I walk out to the porch, feel the boards creak beneath me, and lean on the railing like it might explain something. Why would she do that? Why would his mother go to the trouble of reserving a plot for me, years before her own passing? It wasn't charity. No, she wasn't that type. She didn't pity people. She respected them. Or she didn't. And if she didn't, you knew. But if she did, you were family, and she looked at me like I was something precious. Not because of what I'd done, but because of who her son said I was. Maybe that's all it takes. One man's faith in another. One mother's trust that her boy didn't waste his loyalty. And yet, I've wasted time, wasted chances, lived in the shell of a life instead of filling it. I remember the last time I saw her. I was still raw, couldn't sleep, couldn't sit through dinner without feeling like I'd left someone behind. I came to her place with a letter in my pocket I couldn't read aloud. I didn't have to. She knew. She hugged me, made me a sandwich I didn't touch, and told me, "You don't have to understand it. You just have to carry it with honor." Carry it. That's what I've been trying to do. But carrying isn't the same as living. That plot, it's not just a space. It's a mirror, a quiet dare. It asks, if this is where you'll end up, what will you do between now and then? I reach into an old box in the closet, one I haven't touched in years. Inside, photos, a few challenge coins, a dog tag with a dent in it, and a folded piece of paper. His last letter to me, sent 2 weeks before he died. I've read it maybe 10 times in 19 years. Never aloud. Now I read it again. "Hey, man, still breathing out here. Got your care package? You really went with sardines, huh? You sick bastard! But I owe you. Those cans got me out of an hour of foot patrol. Sarge says if I stink, I can sit it out. I might keep that trick going. Weather's trash. Spirits are okay. I miss beer and real burgers and Friday nights that don't involve sand in my socks. But mostly, I miss knowing you're 2 feet away, cracking dumb jokes. They keep pairing me with a new kid. He's quiet, nervous, like a baby deer with a rifle. I try to give him the same patience you gave me. It matters, man. You mattered. If we don't make it back, bury me with the boots I wore in basic, and save me a seat at that dive bar in Killeen. I'll be there, eventually. Just late. Later, Kelly. I folded back slowly, fingers shaking. He thought I was the one who mattered. He thought I was the steady one, the reliable one. Truth is, I only seemed steady because he was. And maybe that's why his mother chose to place me beside him, because she knew I'd lost more than a friend. I lost my mirror, my measure. For the first time in a while, I cry. Not loud, not ugly, just a steady leak of everything I've held in too long. I don't cry because he's gone. I cry because he's still holding space for me. Even in death, he's making room. I grab my keys. There's a place I haven't been in a long time, the VFW Hall just outside town. Last I heard, they were struggling, low attendance, roof leaking, fewer young vets showing up. I used to avoid it. Too many ghosts, too many what-ifs. But maybe it's time I stopped avoiding. Maybe it's time I started showing up. The parking lot is mostly empty when I get there. 1 pickup, 2 sedans, and a Harley that's seen better days. Inside, the air smells like beer and old carpet. The lighting's yellow. The walls are covered in flags, plaques, dusty photos. A guy at the bar looks up, balding, big mustache. Name tag says Ed. You served? He asks. I nod. I did. Army. OIF. He motions toward the bar. You drink? Sometimes. Then you're in the right place. I sit down, order a Coke, start small. He asks what brought me in. I tell him part of it. The plot, the name, the grave beside my buddies. I leave out the crying. I leave out the letter. Ed doesn't laugh. He doesn't say, that's heavy, or we've all been there. He just nods and says, sounds like you've got a seat saved. Then he taps the wood bar. Well, glad you showed up anyway. That's all it takes, one small moment of being seen. He introduces me to the others, a Navy guy named Brooks, a woman who flew Chinooks, a Vietnam vet with eyes like old steel. We talk shop. We talk nothing. We don't talk about the war much, not directly. But it's in everything, the jokes, the pauses, the way someone looks down before speaking. By the time I leave, I'm not fixed, but I'm not hollow either. The night air smells like wood smoke and wet asphalt. My car door creaks the way it always does. I sit for a moment, engine off, and look up at the stars. Something in me shifts. Maybe I can't undo the past. Maybe I can't live for him. But I can live because of him. I can fill the time between now and that stone with something more than coffee and questions. And maybe, just maybe, that's all he wanted. The next morning, I wake up before sunrise. Habit, maybe. Or maybe it's something else, a kind of pull. That unsettled plot, that quiet dare, still stirring under my ribs like a whisper I can't quite ignore. I brew a pot of coffee, then pack it up the way I used to. Thermos, 2 cups, napkins just in case. I don't head straight to the cemetery. Not yet. First, I drive out to the edge of town where the fields go flat and the world feels wide again. There's a spot I used to go, back when the noise in my head got too loud. Nothing but wind and wheat out here. You can sit on the hood of your truck, stare at the horizon, and pretend for a little while that the world makes sense. I pull over, kill the engine, step out. The dew is thick on the grass, shining like 1,000 tiny metals. The wind hums low through the stalks. Somewhere in the distance, a bird calls, single and strong. I pour 2 cups, set one down on the hood beside me, raise mine a little. To you, buddy? And then I talk. I tell him about the plot. I tell him about Ed, the bar, the way the VFW hall still smells like cheap beer and old stories. I tell him about the Chinook pilot and the Vietnam vet. I even tell him about the crying. And then I ask him the question that's been stuck in my throat since yesterday. What do I do now? The wind answers with a gust that rattles the cup beside me. I know he wouldn't want me to stay frozen. I know he didn't die for me to just survive. He was all about movement, next steps, next mission, next stupid joke. He wouldn't want me staring at a grave like it's a finish line. He'd want me moving forward. So, I make a decision. I go back to the VFW hall that afternoon, and I ask Ed if they need help. He looks at me like I've just offered him a winning lottery ticket. You know how to fix a roof? No, I admit, but I can learn. He claps me on the shoulder. That's more than we've had in months. We get started that weekend. Old shingles, rusted nails, more mold than I care to admit. But there's something holy in it, something real. You sweat beside someone, you curse the same sun, you share a sandwich from a cooler, and you start to heal. One of the younger guys, maybe 30, asks why I showed up. I give him the short version. He listens, then says, "My cousin died in Afghanistan. I haven't talked about it in 5 years, but maybe I should." And just like that, a door opens. It keeps happening. Someone brings in old uniforms to donate. Another offers to repaint the flagpole. Someone else prints new flyers, tries to get the town to show up again. We're not saving the world, but we're reclaiming something. Honor, maybe, or memory. And every nail I hammer feels like one more piece of a story being put right. After a month, I go back to the cemetery. This time, I bring new flowers and a small, smooth stone I found while cleaning out the gutters at the hall. It's nothing special, just rounded by time, warm in the palm. But it feels like something I want to leave behind. I kneel, set the flowers down, then place the stone on top of his headstone, quietly, deliberately. "I'm trying," I whisper. "I'm really trying." Then I look at my own name, still there, still waiting, and for the first time, it doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like a timeline, a space I still get to fill. I lean back, let the sun hit my face. The air smells like cut grass and dust and early summer. Insects hum somewhere nearby. The flag snaps overhead, and I breathe. I think about Mrs. Kelly, how she saw something in me when I didn't, how she made a place for me, next to her son, in the earth, in memory. That was her final gift, not a guilt trip, not a burden, a permission to stay close, to keep faith, to matter. Before I leave, I trace the name again, his, then mine. It's strange, but now I want to earn it. That space beside him, it's not just a grave. It's a reminder that some bonds outlast everything, even war, even time, even silence. I walk back to the car, slower this time. No rush. I've got time. And now I've got purpose. Back at the VFW, there's talk of a new project. A memorial wall, maybe. Photos, dog tags, letters, if people are willing. Ed says, "You should speak at the next meeting. Tell them about your friend." I say I'll think about it, but I know I will, because the more I speak his name, the more I remember who I am. Not just the guy who survived, but the one still standing, still building, still reaching. And maybe that's the story I get to leave behind. The next Memorial Day comes faster than I expect. Maybe that's what happens when your life starts to fill again. One project leads to another. One name on a wall becomes 10. One man stepping forward becomes a dozen more. And somehow the weight you've carried alone starts to spread, not in pain, but in purpose. The VFW hall looks different now. Roof's done. Walls are painted. We even got a small coffee station installed. Folks hang around longer now. They talk. They laugh more. The memorial wall stands near the back, framed in oak. Dog tags hang on tiny hooks. Letters sit in clear sleeves, some yellowed, some fresh. There's a little bronze plaque above it that reads, "For those who still live through us." His photo's up there, third from the left. He's laughing in it, of course. Always did have a stupid grin when a camera showed up. I put a copy of that last letter underneath it, folded once, words still sharp. This year, before I head to the cemetery, I bring someone with me. His name's Alex, early 30s, Navy vet, joined our group a few months back. Lost his younger brother in Iraq. Hasn't been able to talk about it much, but something about the way we sit in silence together. He says it helps. We drive in quiet. No need for music, just the wheels on the road and the occasional crow slicing across the sky. At the cemetery, we walk together. I bring the usual, 2 cups, a thermos. He carries a small flag, fresh out of the wrapper. When we reach the headstone, he lets out a soft whistle. "That him?" "Yeah," I nod. "That's Kelly." I pour the coffee. We sit. For a while, no one speaks. Then I tell Alex the story. The seat switch, the letter, the reserved plot, his mother's choice, my years in the dark, the way it all began to shift last year. He listens like it matters, and when I finish, he doesn't say, "I'm sorry." He just nods, eyes red but steady. He sets the flag in the earth beside the stone, and he says, "Thanks, man, for making space." It hits me then, what this has all been, not just a reckoning, not just grief, but an invitation to share the space. My friend's death marked me, but his life, that shaped me. And now, through that quiet gift his mother left, his impact keeps growing. It's not about the stone, not really. It's about what we build between now and when it's ours. As the sun climbs, I pull a folded note from my pocket. Something I've worked on all year. A letter to him. Not for closure, not for ceremony. Just a message. I read it out loud. "Hey, brother, you'd laugh if you saw what I'm doing now. Fixing leaks, organizing fundraisers, hosting cookouts for guys who forgot how to talk. You'd call me a sap, but I think you'd be proud too. Your name still holds space in my life, not just in grief, but in action. I see you in the way I treat others. I hear you in my bad jokes. I carry you when I show up. And that empty plot, it doesn't scare me anymore. It reminds me that I've still got time. And damn it, I'm going to use it right. See you when I see you." Me. I set the note beneath his flowers, weigh it down with a stone. Alex and I stand. Before we go, he glances at the twin stones. "Still feels wild, seeing your own name like that?" "Yeah," I say. But now it feels like a promise, not a sentence. He nods. We walk back to the car. The ride back feels lighter, like something old has shifted, like the weight got redistributed, shared between shoulders that can carry it better now. Back at the VFW hall, people are setting up for the afternoon gathering. Nothing formal, just hot dogs, folding chairs, and music that leans too much on old country ballads. But it's good. Someone hands me a mic later and says, "Say a few words?" I hesitate, then take it. I look around. Veterans in caps too worn to read. Widows holding hands with grown kids. Strangers who just wanted to be part of something today. I clear my throat. I visit my buddy's grave every Memorial Day, and last year I found something strange. A plot beside him, quietly reserved in my name. At first, it felt like a mistake, then like a burden. But now I know it's a gift. It's a reminder that our lives still hold meaning, that we're not finished yet, that the space between now and that stone can still be filled with service, with kindness, with stories. So, if you've got someone waiting for you on the other side, live like they're still watching. Live in a way that honors the seat they saved. I set the mic down. No applause, just stillness, the kind that says, people heard you. That night, I sit on the porch, coffee in hand, flag still catching the wind. I think of that plot with my name. Waiting, yes, but not demanding, just reminding. I used to fear it. Now I thank it. It told me, you're not done yet. So here's what I know now. You don't honor the fallen by folding into silence. You honor them by living with purpose every damn day you've got left. And if you've got a buddy, a brother, a sister who never made it home, say their name in the comments below. If this echoes something in you, pass it on. And if you believe stories like this matter, stick around. We've got more to tell. Because this isn't just my story. It's ours.